Okay, so you're online right now, watching this. But what if I told you that everything you've ever seen on the internet is just the tip of the iceberg? Yeah. Way down below the surface of your everyday websites, there's this hidden digital world. And today, we're diving straight into it, the Darknet.
So let me ask you, and really think about it. How much of the internet have you actually explored? I'm not talking about your usual haunts. No. Beyond the familiar glow of those sites, there's a whole other layer, a place that plays by a completely different set of rules.
All right, let's break this down. On one side, you've got the surface web. That's pretty much everything a search engine can find, right? It's the internet you and I use every single day. But on the other side, well, that's the darknet. It's built to be hidden. Search engines can't see it, and you need some pretty special tools just to peek behind the curtain.
So, what exactly is this hidden place? Let's go beyond the surface and really get into it. The number one thing you need to know about the darknet is anonymity. That's the whole point. You can't just pop an address into Chrome or Safari and expect it to work. Nope. You need special software, the most famous one being the Tor browser. And here's the cool part. Think of it like an onion. It wraps your connection in all these layers of encryption and bounces it all over the world. The goal? To make you and your location completely anonymous. It creates a genuinely private space.
And this is where things get really interesting, because there's this incredible duality to it all. See, anonymity itself isn't inherently good or bad. It's just a tool. For, say, a political activist trying to get information out of an oppressive regime, it's a total lifeline. But that very same shield of privacy, it also creates the perfect deep shadow for illegal marketplaces and all sorts of criminal activity to just, boom, flourish.
And let's be honest, it's those marketplaces that grab all the headlines, right? So let's pull back the curtain a little and see what's actually going on inside.
You know what's kind of wild is that if you were to stumble onto one of these sites, your first thought might be, hey, this looks familiar. Seriously. They're designed to look just like any other e-commerce site, think Amazon or eBay. You've got product listings, you've got vendor ratings, customer reviews, even escrow systems to hold on to your payment. It's this whole bizarre setup designed to create a weird sense of trust in a place that's, well, completely lawless.
But actually finding these places, that's a whole other story. The links themselves, these weird addresses that end in .onion, are encrypted and they change all the time. They're super unstable. You might find one posted on some hidden forum, but here's the catch. Is it real? Or is it a scam to steal your crypto? Or even worse, is it a trap set up by the authorities? It's this incredibly high-stakes game of cat and mouse.
Okay, so it's pretty clear this is not a place you want to be messing around in. It is genuinely dangerous. So let's get specific and break down the 4 major risks you'd be up against if you ever decided to go exploring.
All right, risk number 1, and this is the big one that everyone thinks they're smart enough to avoid.
We're talking about the legal consequences. Look, that whole promise of being a ghost online, it is not foolproof, not by a long shot. You have to understand that law enforcement agencies are all over these networks. They are actively monitoring them. And just visiting one of these illegal sites, even out of simple curiosity, could get you into some very, very serious hot water.
Okay, number 2. Now the danger comes directly to you. Your own computer becomes the battleground.
Cybersecurity threats. The darknet is basically a digital minefield. You're one bad click away from unleashing all kinds of nasty stuff. Malware that'll lock up your computer, phishing scams that'll steal your bank info, ransomware that holds your entire digital life hostage. It's a really quick way to have a very, very bad day.
Coming in at number 3, this one's a direct hit to your wallet.
Scams and financial loss. A huge number of these so-called markets are just elaborate scams. They'll operate for a while, build up some trust, collect a ton of money, and then poof, they pull what's called an exit scam. They just vanish overnight, taking everybody's crypto with them. And when that happens, there's no customer service to call, there is no legal recourse. Your money is just gone.
And finally, number 4. This is the one that's bigger than just you and your computer. The ethical implications. Because even if you just visit, even if you don't buy anything, you're stepping into a space that directly fuels real-world harm. These aren't just websites. They're the infrastructure for horrible industries like identity theft, drug distribution, and some of the most awful forms of exploitation imaginable. You gotta remember, behind every single transaction, there's a victim.
So, wow. With all of that hanging in the air, you might be wondering, what's being done about it? And how can you possibly stay safe? Well, it really boils down to one crucial thing: awareness.
And make no mistake, law enforcement is not just standing by. They're actively fighting back. We're talking about advanced digital forensics to follow the money, deep undercover operations, massive coordinated efforts between global agencies, and of course those high-profile shutdowns you see in the news. So this whole idea that the Darknet is some untouchable Wild West, it's just a myth.
And honestly, that's exactly why we're talking about all this today. Your absolute best defense is knowledge. Just understanding how this corner of the internet works, what it is, and what the real risks are, that is the single best way to avoid getting tangled up in scams, exploitation, or accidentally stepping into something illegal.
So, I want to leave you with this final thought to chew on. The entire existence of the Darknet really hangs in this delicate, tense balance. On one hand, you have the absolutely vital human need for privacy, but on the other, you have the harsh reality of the dangers that thrive in that same anonymity. So the big question is, how do we, as a society, navigate that? How do we find that balance? And believe me, there are no easy answers.